Peace, family, peace, 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 peace. All right, so today's video is about your parents couldn't love you, okay? And when I say they couldn't love you the way you wanted them to love you. Peace, family. So right here, this part, I couldn't get the words out quick enough. So I had a dream about a boy that I grew up with in the same exact project as me. And in the dream, this kid, he was my nephew, okay? He was my brother's son. And he felt abandoned by my brother, okay? He felt like my brother should have loved him more. He also felt like my brother loved, his other sibling more than him, okay? Also in a dream, my nephew, he had so much resentment. He just felt like he should have been loved more, and I felt like his pain in my dream, okay? And so this what inspired the video. Honey, never mind my hands. Honey, I'm dyeing my hair with some henna. That's why I got the shower cap on, okay? I wanted to do this video because oftentimes we feel like our parents should have done better. They should have, done different than what they did do. And I'm here to say, if your mother or daddy would have been in your life, do you know for sure that your life would have been different? Because I think a lot of times we say, well, if my mother or my father would have been here, then my life would have been so much different. So a lot of you guys know, my mother, she was an alcoholic, okay, for years. And my mother been sober, I believe it's like 10 or 12 years now. She's been sober for like a long time, right? And I remember as a kid, I used to feel like my mother should have been in my life. My mother should have been this. My mother should have been that. But the truth of the matter was that my mother couldn't give me something that she didn't have, okay? And my mother loved me. See, this is what you have to understand. Sometimes your parents express their love through different avenues, or sometimes they can't give just what they don't have, okay? And one of the things that I remember so vividly and clear about my mama, one second. So I tell you guys about valerian root. The valerian root is going to get you together, honey. If your nerves is some type of way, you drink some valerian root and see how calm and mellow you be. All right. So anyway, so my mother, I used to feel, my mother should have been there. But what I realized was, when I was a kid and I was about 7 years old, my story from me being, my father having custody of me, just being raised with my father, and being exposed to drugs, to prostitution, to fights, all these different things, just a challenging environment, okay? And from there, I went from, living with my daddy to going and staying in a foster home, okay? And then ran away from the foster home, then went to the group home, okay? And when I was in a group home, my mother's sister, my aunt, she had got custody of me and my sister. And later on, we went to go stay, my sister and I, we went to go stay down the projects where my grandmother lived, okay, my mother's mother. And as we would go down there on Fridays, and then we wound up staying down there for good. But on Fridays, we would go down there. And one of the ways that my mother would show like her love and everything is through food. So my mother would cook, a cheeseburger, like these real big, ginormous cheeseburgers. And, when I would speak to my mother over the phone, she'd say, oh, I'm going to make cheeseburgers for you guys when you come. And she would make the cheeseburgers from scratch, and with the cheddar cheese and everything like that. and she would do fries and stuff. So that was my mother way of, one, bonding with us, and then two, also showing that she loved us through food. So I know you may feel, like, oh well, they should have did more. They should have did more. Sometimes our parents is here to teach us how to love unconditional. Okay, let me say that again. Sometimes our parents is here to teach us how to love unconditional. Okay, meaning how to love ourselves. All right, because if you keep getting into certain relationships, right, as a part of you, afterwards you start asking, why am I attracting these certain types of people? And the reason why you attracted them is because that lack that you felt, the abandonment that you experienced, that you went through, okay, it's not who you are, but it's just, something you went through. If you don't get the experiences of, my parents did the best that they know how to do, then you are going to keep on repeating that cycle. And because you are looking for love from your mama or your daddy and, people that you start dating, a lot of times you get your feelings hurt because you go into the relationship and you feel like you incomplete. You go into the relationship feeling like this person is going to make you whole. Okay. And I said incomplete, right? But you go in there expecting to receive something from someone who cannot give you what you're looking for, because the reason you have attracted that person is because of lack, right? Some people say, well, I can't wait to be in a relationship. I need to be in a relationship. Because what they feel is, well, once I get into the relationship, I'm going to be whole. I'm going to be, I'm going to be completed. The person is going to love me. And so many times people, even in those relationships, they can't love you if you don't love yourself. Okay. And for a long time, I had to experience that and go through it. Okay. Until I grew through it. All right. And I'm just going to read, it's two books that this book I absolutely positively love. Okay. I remember I was watching someone on Instagram, and she had recommended this book, like How to Heal the Relationship Between You and Your Mother. Okay. She said she healed her relationship with her mother reading this book. Okay. And it's just not like your mother. It could be, anybody. It's The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. Okay. The author who wrote The 4 Agreements. So this book I highly recommend. But this book is The Way to Love by Anthony DeMello. Okay. And this is What Must I Do? Teacher, what good deed must I do to have eternal life? I don't know why this chapter came up, okay? Because what I do sometimes, I do like this in a book, and I allow the universe to guide me on what should I read, okay? And so it says, and this is Matthew 19:16, okay? I guess that was like a quote from the Bible. Teacher, what deed must I do to have eternal life? And it says, think of yourself in a concert hall listening to the strains of the sweetest music when you suddenly remember that you forgot to lock your car. You are anxious about the car. You cannot walk out of the hall and you cannot enjoy the music. There you have a perfect image of life as it is lived by most human beings. For life, to those who have the ears to hear, is a symphony. But very, very rare indeed is the human being who hears the music. Why? Because they are busy listening to the noises that their conditioning and their programming have put into their heads. That and something else. Their attachments. An attachment is a major killer of life. To really hear the symphony, you must be sensitively tuned to every instrument in the orchestra. When you take pleasure only in the drum, you cease to hear the symphony because the sound of the drum has blotted out the other instruments. You may have your preferences for drum or violin or piano. No harm in these, for a preference does not damage your capacity to hear and enjoy the other instruments. But the moment your preference tunes into an attachment, it hardens you to the other sounds. You certainly undervalue them, and it blinds you to its particular instrument, so you give it value out of all proportion of its merit. Now look at a person or thing you have an attachment for, someone or something to whom you have handed over the power to make you happy or unhappy. Ooh, I get it now. I get it. Okay, so basically what they're saying is, if you so tuned in to what your parents should have done, right? And you just go through life reliving, recreating that same exact story. Oh, if they would have loved me better, my life would have been different. Okay? If they would have loved me better, I wouldn't attract the type of people I attract. If they would have loved me better, I would have known how to love myself. Okay? You are so focused to that story and so attached to that programming of abandonment, of not loving you. You attach to that story so much, you are creating unhappiness in your own life. Okay, I like to say all the time, happiness is a choice. Okay, and it really is. Okay, happiness is really a choice. In the morning time, you choose if you want to be happy or not. And so, how did I start getting over this, right? The experience of abandonment, me forgiving my parents, and more so forgiving myself. And so, how did I get over that? One, okay, I started putting the statement out. I tell you guys all the time, it started with me going in the bathroom. It started with me being uncomfortable. It started with me just asking, or not even asking, saying, I know I didn't come here for this. And then one thing led to another. When I say one thing led to another, it was as if I started being guided into what I came here to do, which are these inspirational videos, okay? And that led me to, before that, I had this epiphany on the floor in the living room, okay? Got finished meditating, and what came to me was that get people out the matrix, okay? I didn't know what that meant. I didn't understand, it's the belief systems, right? But more importantly, how could I get myself out, right? From being unattached to the belief systems, from me understanding that story that I've been telling is no longer serving, okay? And so I started doing the work on myself, and I started connecting dots. I attracted these type of men because of this story that I had going on in my subconscious mind. See, the more you are looking for your daddy and your mama from the people that you date, the more you are going to be let down, okay? Because you are, so to speak, continuing the pain of the abandonment. You are continuing it because you feel, and the reason why you tend to do it is because it's subconscious. It's habits. Okay, you do it because it's a habit. Is you program. You're not even aware why you or how you attract the people that you attract. Oftentimes I ask I ask people, how did you attract this guy? And they say, well, because he looked good. Or why are you going out with him? Because he looked good. And I always say it's more than the person looking good. You have to be on the same exact vibration. You have to be offering the same exact energy and frequency. That's how we attract people. Okay? And so, with that being said, I hope you guys got something from this video. If you want better, you gotta understand you deserve better. Okay? I don't think it's so much that people don't like they want better, but oftentimes some people have a hard time understanding that they really deserve better. Okay, and people will say, I deserve better, but if you deserve better, you do better. But first you gotta become aware. You gotta start questioning your reality. Okay, why am I attracting this? Why is this showing up in my life? You gotta start questioning it. And so with that being said, I love you guys. I love you. I love you. Make sure you're rocking out and believing in yourself.